Walker.
Guys, welcome back to the You Know Ball podcast. I am your host, Trill Bro Dude, and today we have a whole fucking crew in here. We're hoping that our computers don't die from the just absolute strength and handsomeness and just truth bombs that we're about to drop on your heads right now. So first off, let's start up top. We have Sam Sheehan, not the guy for hire. What's up, Sam?
No, don't you dare try to give me a job. I don't want to hear it. I'm one of the ones who doesn't want to work. You're hearing about in this country. So,
yeah. Do you know anything about the Athletic 2? Have you heard anything about this?
I've a lot of people. I'm getting a lot of emails because of some confusion saying, please stop applying to the Athletic 2. It's not a real thing. Our company literally doesn't make money, so we definitely can't make a second one. They're pretty honest in the emails, which is crazy. But all right, well, Godspeed to all my friends who work at the Athletic. By the way.
Okay, well, I'm supposed to go on an Athletic podcast later this week, so that appearance has now been canceled. So thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. And then we have Matt, aka Panasonic, a bunch of numbers.
You don't have
What's
to read
up,
that.
Matt?
It's a bunch of shit. It's pointless. I get yelled at for that. Like a million people told me to change that into something like better, and that just makes me want to keep
including
it
me.
Harder.
Yeah, yes. I know. It's really annoying. And don't worry.
Don't listen.
I'm a million times going to keep it if I'm going to keep doing this, because that way, like, I can just going to make you say all the numbers. And like one time you got to fuck up and say like your PIN number, and then like someone can just like take it. It'll be great.
Yeah. So it's Panasonic and then my social.
Well,
you guys look that up.
Panasonic, mother's maiden name, childhood pet, last 4 digits of the social.
I mean, the obvious. Everyone already knows my PIN. Come on now, 69. Come on. All right. Yeah, of course, classic.
We're all 30 something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if everyone in here is 30 something. We're not all washed.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say somehow Gregory Smith, aka Nihilist Bucks, is I believe the youngest person in here, which is really shocking because you have an old man soul. So
I'm 26. So
26.
Yeah.
I'm 29. I was being nice and rounding up for you, but
thank you for making me feel better as the fucking senior citizen in here at 31 going on 32. Wait, Sam, do we know how old you are?
32.
So. Damn. Okay, you're the most washed of everyone in here.
The guy with the PlayStation games visible directly into the picture.
Sam, if you could only see what was behind me, I'll send you a picture after. You've seen some of my shit before, so.
Sam, when FDR did those fireside chats, did it like bring the nation together? Did you feel like that helped get you through the depression, or did you just feel like it was pandering?
No, absolutely. I mean, one of my.
I mean, did you feel like it helped, or was it like feel like pandering, like when Joe Biden says like?
I don't know. I mean, just
like that. What was it?
Yeah, I mean, just like when The Jungle came out, like we were all crazy about Upton Sinclair. So it was really nice to kind of just, finally, when those refrigerated carts came out, it was just nice to feel like we had finally made another leap forward. So good.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's what I thought we were going to start with. Some FDR chat at the top, And
the homogenization of American culture of the invention of the refrigerated train car.
That's actually we're changing the podcast to be a history podcast now. So,
I wrote an essay on this in 10th grade AP US history. I could do this shit. Let's go.
Oh, cool! Right. Nice humble brag. AP US history.
What were they DEQs or whatever it was? They had the right.
Oh, God.
What are we talking about?
DBQ.
Everyone, you all know what you came here for.
This is an NBA trade podcast. We are going. I already am mad at Matt for taking us off subject. Somehow,
That's one.
We already have someone in the comments, Fatty Milk, saying, "If you're 26, Nihilist Bucks, why do you post so old?" It's true. You're an old man.
All he does in the Discord is trash me, and it's very funny. I find it very endearing. They don't prove nobody.
I should probably invite people and tell them that we're live on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe that would help get viewers. I don't know how any of this works. Hold on one second. I'm actually watching us right now on my phone. So All right, we got 16 people in here, so let's let people just riff, just do whatever you guys. You want to talk about the grassy knoll? You want to talk about CIA?
That's what I was doing, and then you yelled at me. That's what I was doing, and then you yelled at me.
So, what did you guys think about the Anti-Federalist Papers?
Yeah,
and the whole response.
No, keep going. Come on, you dug yourself into this hole. Keep going.
So I forget who actually wrote the Anti-Federalist Papers. I believe it was anonymous. I don't know. I'm assuming we figured it out at some point. But it was written. There was the Anti-Federalist Papers written in opposition to the obviously named Federalist Papers. And it was basically just one guy saying, no, the Constitution sucks. And that was all he wrote.
That guy rocks. Who's that guy? He should come on the podcast.
And his
Lin-Manuel Miranda's greatest rival.
His name was Sam Sheehan, and now he's here.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
All right. So I told
that's probably better than where I wanted to take us, where I was going to talk about bump stocks and where Stephen Paddock's hard drive went. So I'm glad you guys took control of the conversation.
So I just want to say this is an NBA podcast, and we are going to talk about trades at a certain point. Someone said in the comments, "Did anyone see the Harden news?" Teddy, what are you talking about? How can you just?
No, he's out. He's out tomorrow. But tonight,
and so he had problems with his right hamstring last season, and it's his left hamstring now. That's what you want, right? You want them both bad. Yeah,
it's
balance.
Fair and balanced.
It's not
like
real.
News.
It's because the trade's already going through. It's happening tonight.
Stay woke. Yeah,
that's the sign. That's the sign. If it was real, he would be the right one. You'd say, "Oh, it's the re-aggravate." He's doing left. It's like a wink, wink. I'm on my way. I've already left. Wink, wink.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The Nets are going to trade James Harden to the Sixers in season while they're going for a title and help out the Sixers try to go for a title.
Are they going for a title? Are they going for a title this season?
I mean, I think so. They have Kevin Durant on their team.
Right. It's not like they're helping anybody they play that often, so it's not like they're in division or anything.
Well, I will say I'm still begging for the Toronto versus Nets first round series, so we can see what the Nets look like without Kyrie for an entire series. There is a possibility that the Nets are like the 2 seed, and they get the Raptors as the 7 seed. And Kyrie literally can't play in any games in the first round.
If the Knicks make a stupid trade for like Jerami Grant or something, I don't even know how that would work.
Why would the Knicks ever do a stupid trade?
Because they're obviously, but the Knicks Nets home and home series where Kyrie also can't play would be, or can he play as the away? Can he play as the visitor in the?
Because COVID can't spread if you're the visitor. You're allowed to play as the visitor in LA and Golden State, and apparently in New York too. Like, he can literally just go across the bridge and be like, "Oh, I'm vaccinated now." It's the same thing. Like, I don't understand how any of these rules work, but I think if they were to face off against the Knicks in the first round, that he would be able to play in the road games. But all of this could end up being moot because, KD's out for a month or whatever. Harden's hamstring is acting up again. We have a very good possibility of a disaster class from the Nets in the playoffs. But before this season, Nihilus Bucks, you told me you were right. Even though the Nets record's good, I don't think that anyone is super scared of the Nets like they were last year.
Nope.
I know you've never been, but Also, they pretty much almost beat you without Kyrie and Harden. So. Or we're like half a corpse Harden last year. So it's not like they weren't posing a huge threat when they got to the playoffs before, but now it does feel like I wouldn't be Harden to the Wizards, people are saying in the comments, okay?
For Bradley Beal.
That'd be wait, a Harden for Beal trade would just be a real funny, fuck you, Maury situation.
And then we get to James Harden would probably, as noted, placer of hits, James Harden. Do you guys remember that he put a hit out on Moses Malone Jr.? No one talks about this. He literally
wait. What? You need to explain. What is?
James Harden paid dudes to go beat up Moses Malone II. You can look this up. It's a real thing.
What did Moses Malone II? What did Moses Malone II do?
I don't even know.
It
probably was mean to, or like said something to him at a Houston strip club. That's all I know. But
also, Moses Malone the second.
Him.
He did? Okay, Sam is researching this. He sued.
James Harden sued. Oh no, James Harden sued by Moses Malone Jr. for allegedly orchestrating robbery.
Yeah, he paid dudes to rob him. I'm not kidding.
Alleges that Harden paid a group of people $20,000 in cash to attack and rob Malone at a V Live strip club last year.
What? Oh my God! It did have a strip club involved. I believe it now. I mean, before I was like, I don't know, but
can I say the fucked up thing? This makes me want him to be a Sixer even more.
He's trying to put out a hit on one of the greatest players in our franchise's history, son.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. This is a weird team that gets like a 30 for 30 every like 6 months. That'd be great. Like the current all NBA player on it put out a hit on like one of our franchise.
Where I was going with that
is
wonderful. He would just threaten to beat up every person in that Spaces last night. He wouldn't let that happen.
Oh, the Wizards? The Wizard Spaces? Yeah. Okay, so we got to talk about the Wizard Spaces. Did anyone happen to
I was in there for an hour.
I listened a little.
Yeah, I listened to it, and I got the audio from Jonestown from like when they started drinking the Kool-Aid. It was like what I heard in that space.
Okay, so there were multiple funny parts. Like the first funny part was Bradley Beal's wife was in the space for a long time.
Oh my God! Oh, no. She was?
Yeah, and then as soon as she left, some dude's like, "I'm sorry, I do not remember Bradley Beal's wife's name," but he goes, "I'm sorry, Bradley Beal's wife's name. Your husband fucking sucks." And then they go, "Dude, she's in here. You can't say that." He's like, "No, she fucking left." And then another dude on the space just, "Let her in then. Fuck Bradley Beal."
Wow.
And they just fucking went in on they were ready to give away Bradley Beal for like a second round pick. They were so mad last night.
Let me just say this though, that's a ride or die, man. Like I cannot imagine anyone, I would not ask anyone to ever confront someone on the internet on behalf of me because that's absolutely the worst place. I'd rather fill in for someone, like take their draft card and go to war than like defend someone in the fucking Twitter space.
Dude, Twitter space, I've said it earlier today, Twitter space is the closest thing that we have to modern day guerrilla radio in like the Cuban Revolution. like just like fan bases like rising up as like we're working class people who all we have to live for is watching Bradley Beal over dribble and ruin our lives every week, and we're not going to stand for it. The Lakers have done this now. The Wizards, the Nets fans are freaking out over the Harden shit. Earlier today, I tuned into a Nets Spaces, and the guy was talking about Kyrie, and it was really like emotional. He was talking about like Muhammad Ali being pro-vax and like how kids are dying in Brooklyn and shit. And I was like, oh my God, this is literally like some Revolutionary War shit. And they're literally just like, we must stand up against Kyrie Irving so James Harden does not get traded. And I'm like, I was going to let his
franchise ruined by Kyrie Irving. It won't work. I'm sorry.
Another notorious anti-vaxxer, Bradley Beal.
He's going to win. I'm sorry. That's my thing with the Harden situation is like, I've talked with multiple people about this. The levels of coke. It's very similar to my team and Kyrie Irving. Like
he's not gonna do it. He doesn't actually want to leave. I'm sure.
I don't know.
I'm saying they're like yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Oh yeah. That's how they're acting. Yeah.
Wait. Also, I just want to say real quick: if Twitter Spaces had existed during like the process era Sixers, I'm 100% sure they would have ended its way into someone like self-immolating over KJ McDaniel's playing time, and like in front of the Wells Fargo Center, like just like the monk back then about the government. It would have been like someone like just like dousing himself in kerosene and laying the match and say KJ McDaniel's needs 24 minutes a game.
That was us during the Amir Johnson versus Rashawn Holmes time, 2017. Brett Brown was like, "No, we're playing Amir. I don't care." And we were like, "Please, Rashawn Holmes is good." And he just, I should have gone on a hunger strike. Honestly, I regret it every day of my life. Now he's a king thriving with the Kings. But yeah,
that was good.
I went to Syria because Enes Kanter got playing time, and I'll do it again.
Cantor for Thibault, I'm seeing in the comments. Okay, cool. Thank you. It's freedom, by the way. We respect the man on this podcast.
Would I trade Thibault for freedom? Maybe. No.
What else was said in the podcast? My favorite was the dude who yelled so loud he broke his phone, like his microphone stopped working.
No.
It literally like shorted out the microphone, and then it was just like this broken mess of speech afterwards. And he was like, the one dude started shouting. They're like, "Dude, stop shouting!" And another dude on the space is like, "No, man, let it out. This has been building up all season."
Wait, was it the one that he kept saying the N-word and everyone thought he was a white guy, and they were like,
no, that was at the end of it.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, that was fun. Always
definitely
always
the internet.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, is this 4chan or Reddit? Or
trying to figure out everyone else's race from their voice. It's always good. Like...
No, the best part of the whole Spaces though was when the guy said, "No one wakes up every morning and is like, I can't wait to watch Bradley Beal play basketball today." I was like, Sixers fans would gladly wake up every day and be like, there's a man who can dribble about. Although the thing about Bradley Beal is like, I'm conflicted on it too, because like I recognize that he's very good and talented, but also I feel like his mood swings, like he has big loser energy to me. Like
it's like a lot of guys right now that are
I know,
kind of having like James Harden to a certain extent too.
Yeah.
Like
are losers having a moment?
Those guys are safe to trade for right now. Like I wouldn't feel great about like giving up everything for an all-in trade for like any of those guys right now.
Listen to the 2 30-plus-year-olds talk about this generation of players and how they're just like a bunch of moody.
They're our age.
You can't trust them.
They're all like older than
I'm
me.
making a joke.
I'm just saying, like, I would trade just basically like Dame's a SoundCloud rapper, Miles Bridges an actual rapper. Like you should trade for Miles Bridges. That's the thing. Yeah,
true. Yeah. It's definitely true. It's struggle rap versus lean rap, which Miles Bridges doesn't do lean, but his friends do. We've gone over this.
Miles, has Dame ever rapped over the NBA on TNT theme song? I don't think so.
That's why he's a loser. That's why he's got a stomach. Oh, his stomach hurts. Oh, come on. Lean in. Oh, do you want Pepto-Bismol so you can play your teams out of the playoffs? Come on.
You're totally right. These soft Zoomers, right? Am I right, folks? These
Dame's got a real bad case of IBS, irritable Blazer syndrome.
Yeah, folks.
There, that'll derail us back into the podcast.
Does Dame need a safe space? Philadelphia's a safe space. We could take you. So the Wizards thing. Just on top of that, I don't know if this is correlated, but I have heard that Beal might be considering asking out before the trade deadline. Which
he doesn't have much time.
I mean, he's got what, 2 weeks?
Is he going to or not at this point? It's either he does or he doesn't.
The Beal cried wolf.
Yeah. He literally, I mean, him and Dame have done this now like 10 times. I don't know. He did it back at the draft. He did it before he signed his last extension. And now it's getting to the point where when we get to the offseason, he can sign a 5-year max deal for like $240 million. And I'm like, that's a lot of money to pay for like the 24th best player in the NBA.
You're
like
about 10 too high for me, but okay. I don't even think he's that
especially
good.
This season. I mean, I guess that's kind of the thing with this season is everyone, like so many players are having really weird season. And
it's the ball, but
it's the ball. Yeah. Like that's kind of, it might be though. Like Steph Curry's had a weird season. Jason Tatum, thank God, has finally pulled his thumb out of his ass, but he was having a really weird season. Like we've got like probably 1 out of every like 7 of the top 30 or so guys in the league are all having like really weird seasons. So that's, I don't know. It seems like there's something there to that. And
at the beginning of the season, it seemed more prominent than it is now. I feel like a lot of guys have adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid's having 4 years, so maybe they just need to get better.
Bradley Beal's 3-point percentage has gone down every year for the last 3 years. Like it's not. He's at 30% for this year, right?
30%.
Now. It's not good.
That's shocking.
It's bad.
Eventually, he has to regress back to the mean. It's fine.
Yeah, in 4 years. In 4 years, Bradley Beal will be a 35% three-point shooter. That's how math works. I'm like a mathematician, so I understand these things. It is funny because when Bradley Beal came out of college, he was getting, and like his first few years in the league, he was getting like Ray Allen comps. Like he was supposed to be this like three-point shooter who also could do some stuff off the dribble, but now it seems like he's completely leaned into just being like super strong and like a guy who drives, and like apparently his passing's been better this season. I don't know. I don't watch a ton of the Wizards because they're the Wizards, but
yeah, I hate to say, but I was gonna say with all that Twitter Spaces, I can't imagine getting that agitated over the Wizards. Like of all teams, like I can't imagine you get that worked up over like a team that was created just to have like Michael Jordan make a comeback for 3
Washington
months.
DC. It's a city of perverts. Like you can't. Like, there is a deep sickness in that city, so I absolutely believe it.
I watched or listened to a man yell for approximately 5 minutes about Thomas Bryant only getting 15 minutes. You just cannot. There is no cure for this disease. It is terminal.
I mean, his last name is Bryant, and today is the anniversary. So why don't you put some respect on there for 8/24? But I do have a question for you, Sam. Do you think that Daryl Morey could try to trade himself to the Wizards? Can a GM trade himself to the Wizards to, one, be with Spencer Dinwiddie, and two, be closer to his friends at the CIA?
That's interesting. I hadn't considered that. I mean, maybe that's how like this Harden deal finally gets done, is Morey trades himself to DC so he can, work for the other Halliburton while bringing in one Halliburton to go work for another Halliburton. And then he could also, trade Doc Rivers to, like the Celtics did back in the day, and bring back Brett Brown and,
restart the process. Trade Joel Embiid. For Andrew Wiggins. Could send him to the Warriors so they can win a few titles. Wouldn't that be cool?
Right.
Andrew Wiggins was the number 1 pick in the draft. Joel Embiid was the 3rd pick, so it's hard to say who's better.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we have like a history now of the number 3 pick in the draft being better than the number 1 pick in the draft. For example, the 2016 draft. Take that, Ben Simmons. Woo, got him. Got his ass.
Okay, that actually brings up a great point. Would you ever consider trading Jalen Brown for Bradley Beal?
That's interesting. It's close. Most Celtics fans, I think, would say yes. I think that's something where it's like probably objectively yes, but I'm someone who's like pretty strong in the belief that like there is like some sort of weird vibes on like the Celtics, and I think Jalen's a big part of that. Like I think Tatum doesn't really have like Tatum's obviously our best player, but I don't think he really like cares about like leadership shit. Like he's just kind of vibing and like playing. It's not like it's like, oh, he doesn't care about winning. He cares about winning. He just doesn't really like, he's not going to like get in guys' faces and anything. That's like the same reason I don't think they should really trade like Marcus Smart, even though like it kind of like makes sense from like a cap and a team perspective. They kind of need someone who's willing to like yell at guys, basically, who's like, like so I don't know, like maybe the shooting is just the Celtics are so starved for 3-point shooting. And I know Bradley Beal is hypothetically a good shooter, but it's not good to trade one of the only guys on the team who's shooting more than 35% for another guy who's shooting 30%. Like,
yeah,
it's just tough.
Not ideal when you're trying to actually maximize spacing around Jason Tatum, but the fact that they are friends from growing up in St. Louis, they've wanted to play together for like their whole lives. I would imagine if Beal did ask out that the Celtics would be at least top 3 on his list. Like, I mean, my guess is that like every star, he's probably just going to pick like the same 5 teams. He'll probably pick, if he were to ask out, which by the way, he might just wait until the summer, sign the extension, and then ask out in 2 years. Like, who fucking knows? But I would imagine that he would probably put the Celtics on there. He would probably put Miami on there. He would probably put some of the California teams. He might put the Sixers on there just because of situation. And then I can't really think of any other teams. But at this point, like, I mean, unless you know that you're trading for Bradley Beal with the obvious idea that you're going to re-sign him this summer, you cannot trade for Bradley Beal if he was available at this deadline.
Right. Well, and let me kind of just do a quick macro thing. That's something like that I think is kind of getting lost in the sauce a little bit here about like this specific moment in like the NBA. It's kind of hard to be a guy asking out. Like, honestly, Philly's like kind of one of the only games in town because they're the only ones with like the Simmons trade chip and like hypothetically getting rid of Tobias that could like cause the cap space threat. Everybody else is kind of like fucked when it comes to cap space. Like, there's not.
You say that like Russell Westbrook doesn't exist.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, like even if the Lakers traded Westbrook, they still couldn't really get meaningful cap space. You know, like
because they have Anthony Davis and LeBron James as like super max deals.
Two solid
and Taylor
guys.
Horton Tucker.
Right.
Don't forget.
But I'm saying like that's where the Sixers have an advantage because the Sixers only have one clear good player. That's a huge advantage because they can kind of move everybody else around.
Having one good player actually is
We've
good.
come all the way around. We've come all the way around.
I mean,
We're post.
They have other good players, but they have like one clear guy. Like it's Embiid's team, and you can just fucking strip everything around him and gut it out. Like, you know, with a lot of other teams, there's anxiety about that. Like for the Lakers, they don't want to trade Anthony Davis. That's like the guy if LeBron leaves. You can't trade LeBron James. You know, you can't do that. Same thing with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Same thing with like, I don't know, fucking Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Like, you know, there's not really like these high big market destinations. The Celtics don't really have the ammo like they did for the past half decade. I know everyone's sick of hearing about that. Like, what, you want Dennis Schroeder and Marcus Smart? Like, maybe you get Rob Williams, but I don't know. I think the Celtics like him quite a bit. So now like if you're asking out, you're going to fucking Memphis. Like that's what's actually going to happen if you do a trade. Like,
yeah, it's true.
You're going to go to a team like that. Yeah.
It's either Memphis or Philly, really, because it's like exactly what you explained. It's like not a lot of teams have tradable contracts. Not a lot of teams have like the asset war chest or whatever. And the majority of people already have their top two guys kind of locked in. So unless the Celtics were just like, fuck it, we really want to do good by Jason Tatum and he wants to play with his friend, who like at this point to me, like Jalen Brown and Bradley Beal are probably in the same tier of player, and Jalen Brown's younger on a better contract, and you don't have to deal with, I guess you do still have to deal with like the weird vibe shit, but like you definitely don't have to sign him to a super max this offseason if you were to make a trade for him. Like he's on the under contract for like 25, like he has one of the best contracts in the league, regardless of how you feel about him as a player overall. Like, so just generally
like the Sixers trade for Bradley Beal, it elevates them just because right now they've got like 40 million in the cap just sitting on the bench doing jack shit.
70,
or like sitting at home.
70 million.
But like, yeah, I mean, the Celtics, I mean, I'm not, does Bradley Beal really, how many teams that can trade for Bradley Beal does he really elevate?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's kind of the Sixers trade deadline. Like, I really do think everything kind of revolves around the Sixers. There's not really any other team. Like, the Lakers are desperate and, like, sniffing around, but nobody fucking wants Russell Westbrook. No one wants $50 million of Russell Westbrook.
And literally zero teams wants 2027 first, Taylor Horton Tucker and Kendrick Nunn. That was literally reported. They've called every team. And
that's
they
all
said,
they reported. Yeah, because it's literally all they have. They're fucked. And they know LeBron's gonna leave after this season. He's gonna fucking do it again. Like the sell everything, fuck the team over, and then just peace. Like that.
Of course,
that's gonna happen again to the Lakers. It's gonna be
LeBron
awesome.
motto, baby. Yeah, I mean that if they truly are stuck and they have no way to get off of Russell Westbrook, we know that's definitely going to happen. So I personally am looking forward to that. Let's move on to our trade machine war crimes. So I just want to say I'm adding this slideshow to the space right now. But the thing about this that is
fun
is I just want to say the funniest part about this trade was that it was submitted 2 days ago, and Juancho Hernan-Gomez is not even on the Celtics anymore, and he was somehow traded in it. So I had to include this one, which is okay. So here's what we have. We're gonna make Sam throw up. If you're listening in audio form, you should probably just watch the video of this part. We have Raul Neto.
Fuck you, if you're on Spotify.
No, they can see videos now. That's where it's different. It's
they?
Apple Podcasts. Yeah. Right. Yeah. The poverty over at Apple Podcasts, the richest company in the whole world. He's been dead for 10 years, dude. Move on. All right.
I can already tell what fan base submitted this, and it's a Wolves fan. So
no, it isn't. That's the weird part. When
Okay.
when I saw the Wolves were involved here, I was like, why are the Wolves involved? This was a Sixers fan, by the way, that submitted this one. This is
the Sixers fan brought Ron. Were they just trying to bring Ron Neto back?
Yeah, he was a big Neto over Burke guy. He was a big Howell Neto over Trey Burke fan, so he wanted to bring him back.
Navy.
Yeah, which completely irrelevant for the trade, really, because he's on the minimum. So I don't know why he brought him back.
I think it was all just a stealthy way to bring Neto back.
Yeah, this really was the plan here. Clearly, we have Howell Neto, Jalen Brown, and Juancho Hernan-Gomez, who is now on the Spurs.
You could sub in Josh Richardson there. The money's
you can put Josh Richardson, who the Sixers fans would love to have back. Josh Richardson, so
or
there's no
Schroeder
there.
Schroeder.
Schroeder, even better.
Whatever.
Okay, all right, and then the Celtics get Bradley Beal and Leandro Bolsonaro from Brazil.
He's got COVID. We're not bringing the COVID in here.
Wait, hold on.
I love his dad's work, but we just can't have him on the team with the COVID positives.
Oh, I thought you meant Bolsonaro had COVID for the 4th time. I was like, damn, he is just.
Does he ever not?
Wait, from Brazil?
Yes, he's had COVID so many times. He's been hospitalized. He keeps getting his colon's impacted. He keeps having to get his poop pumped out. It's not a bit. It's like what happens to him. It's awesome. It's so sick. Anyway, back to the trade.
No, it's great. It's great. I want to say, our thoughts and prayers are with Bolsonaro.
Yeah, friend of the pod player.
We know you're listening. Hang in there, buddy.
Yeah.
We love you.
Don't worry. You'll get Lula this time, buddy. You got him. You got him right where you want him.
Put your lighters in the air for the Amazon and for Bolsonaro. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have the Wizards getting D'Angelo Russell. Man, the Wizards really get fucked here. D'Angelo Russell, Romeo Langford, Jaden Springer.
I think the Celtics got worse.
Wait, hold on. How did the Celtics get worse? Because we just did the Jalen Brown Beal thing.
Right. Well, they're giving up a pick as well.
Okay, they give up
let's break down what's getting sent out here. So basically, the Wolves are sending out D'Angelo Russell and a pick and getting back Ben Simmons. No.
A top 8 protected pick.
Yeah. That's why I said
with protections. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A top 8 protected. Well, the Celtics are giving up a more lightly protected pick, which is funny, than the Wolves, and Jalen Brown, and however you feel about him, Romeo Langford, and they're getting back Bradley Beal. So,
well, look, they got Jaden Springer and Romeo Langford, who are both TikTok teens, so they'll do well there. They got 3 first-round picks from each team, basically, right. And the Sixers get Jalen Brown, and then the Timberwolves get Ben Simmons, as you said. So the Wizards get 3 first-round picks. Here's a deal where I don't think that any team here would do this except for the Sixers.
I think the
Wolves.
Yeah, you don't think the Wolves would do that?
Yeah,
they've been trying to do it, so
I don't know if the Wizards do this. It really clogs the lane up for Cassius Winston.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if D'Angelo Russell is into NFTs, because that could be a problem for Spencer Dinwiddie. I think that there are so many players out there right now that are into NFTs. Like, you could just get De'Aaron Fox. Just get De'Aaron Fox instead. Spencer Dinwiddie, the NFT backcourt. We can make that work. I think they would be really into crypto and all that cool shit. So yeah, this trade definitely not going to happen. They're not trading Jalen Brown before the trade deadline. I just want to say, for the guidelines of this, I said no trades for players like Jalen Brown who are not going to be traded before the trade deadline, and everyone said, fuck you, I'm not listening. They submitted 30 trades for Jalen Brown. So here we are. There's our first one. Here. Congratulations to the Timberwolves for getting Ben Simmons for D'Angelo Russell. So
yeah, that's pretty good.
On to the next one. I got this one from Instagram. No, this is from Instagram. I had to pull this one.
All right, let's go.
So
looks great to me.
We're already firing at all cylinders when the Lakers get Ben Simmons and Jerami Grant for Russell Westbrook, which is
why did Jerami Grant be the one who gets the graphic of him in the jersey too?
My favorite is how the Sixers get Malcolm Brogdon, who is literally untradeable. Just
No, what my favorite part of this is there's 4 future first-round picks here. The Lakers are clearly getting the things, and the Lakers have literally 1 pick to give. So the implication here is that the Pistons are giving up first-round picks. The Sixers are giving up first-round picks. This is a monstrosity. I love it. Because maybe this does get done if the Lakers had any picks, but they don't.
They've won. And as Zach Lowe would put it, we're going to be all dead from climate change by then. So
yeah, exactly.
Also, also just slipping Tyrese.
Do we know if Zach Lowe's alive? I haven't heard the Lowe post. Did Bontemps go rogue during a basketball collective? What happened? Zach, come back.
I think something serious actually did happen because he had to cancel a live appearance and hasn't done the Low Post in 10 days.
Oh, well, that's a bummer.
So you should feel really bad.
Well, now he's actually dead, Sam.
No, all right.
Which means, Sam, there's a podcast opening.
Yeah, okay. Welcome to the Sam Post podcast, where we are here on a sunny. What is sunny? I've never understood sun. My father was an English teacher, and I never sunny. We're getting off topic. We're already off the rails, and I'm joined by the wonderful, the outstanding, the effusive Kevin Arnovitz. Kevin, how are you doing? And it's a sock puppet of Kevin Arnovitz that I've made. Which I already have. I've got all my sock puppets, Kevin Arnovitz, Ramona Shelburne. I make them all talk to each other. It's great.
I actually would pay for a Patreon of that. So if you do decide to do it, please let me know.
Just my sock puppet just doing the Lakers thing, saying that actually Jeanie Buss is trying to be the league. Yeah. Actually, the Pistons are trying to hire Jeanie Buss as their owner because she's so good at girl bossing. That's what Ramona Shelburne sock puppet sounds like. That's what Ramona Shelburne herself sounds like. My reimagining of her. Please don't cancel me. Please don't cancel me.
I love how the Sixers give up Ben Simmons and Maxey and get
I was going to say
Brogdon
that, yeah.
and LeVert.
And
maybe a first-round pick.
And probably
maybe a first-round pick.
Oh, yeah, and you have to give up a first-round pick. Yeah.
So yeah, this is the Lakers.
Dude, they're so awesome.
They have perfect brains. Really,
They
it's
are
like
so good.
It's like Russell Westbrook going there and being terrible, and the whole team suffering because of it is just like the greatest cosmic karma in NBA history. Like it rocks so hard. Like they absolutely deserve everything that they're getting this season. But
I do want to say I think Russell Westbrook on the Pacers would be really funny. I don't know what it would have. I just think in general, him in Indiana, I think that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, he thrived in Oklahoma City, and their goal is to the Pacers' goal is to win 40 games every year. So Russ might help you. All right, so we have the Pistons receiving Talen Horton-Tucker, Malik Monk, and 2 first-round picks. The Sixers getting.
Are we just going back to you describing this after like 5 minutes?
Yes. Well, there is an audio version of this, so I don't know. Maybe I just won't release that. I don't know. At this point, it's kind of gone off the rails. But we have the Sixers receiving Malcolm Brogdon and Karis LeVert, which, by the way, they turned down Malcolm Brogdon, Karis LeVert, and a first-round pick just for Ben Simmons like 2 months ago before the Pacers signed Malcolm Brogdon to an extension, which made him untradeable. So that was
before they realized it could help the Lakers. That changes everything.
You're also addressing like the 7th least insane thing about this trade too.
Yeah, you keep bringing up. Also, you can't even trade Malcolm Brogdon. That is the fucking. That's the weak point of this proposal. That's where it falls apart.
Yeah. I'm watching The Matrix and being like, they don't make sunglasses like that. The bridges are wider. It's pretty good other than that, but it's just like, it really took me out of it.
Oh god damn. All right, so yeah, I'm not even gonna describe the rest, but basically fuck you guys. All right.
Yeah, it sucks.
So
It really sucks.
okay, so this trade is also involving the Pacers because everyone loves to talk about the Indiana Pacers and the Sacramento Kings, really. Those are the two teams that everyone loves to talk about the most. I had to make this trade because we didn't have a normal trade that involved Sabonis.
I was just going to say, I actually kind of like this one. So that makes sense. A normal person made it.
Because all the ones I got, they were like Sabonis to the Sixers, and I'm like, we already did this with Al Horford, and Sabonis is like worse on defense. And then also there were trades where it was like Sabonis and Ben go to the Kings, but as Nihilus Bucks pointed out on the last podcast, that makes no fucking sense. So we have De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley, and a first-round pick to the Pacers, Jeremy Lamb, TJ Warren, and Sabonis to the Kings. So I feel like this is a normal trade. I feel like this is just a trade that should happen. Like, why not? Who cares? You're the Kings and the Pacers. What else do you have going on?
Yeah. I mean, my only stipulation would be they'd probably be trying to like move on from like one of Brogdon or LeVert because you probably can't have all three of those guys. Like, I mean,
well, they could trade LeVert somewhere else.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like you try and move one of those guys somewhere else. But I mean, I think like mechanically it works. I mean, the Kings do love giving up their own draft picks, probably for the best because they're pretty bad at using them for the most part. So, like,
my question is, why did the Pacers want to trade Sabonis for De'Aaron Fox? Like, why do they do that?
Because it's like, what else are you doing? Like, literally, it's like a midlife crisis, a Midwest crisis.
Well, the Sacramento Kings are just fun because like they're the one team in all of North American sports. We can all agree they shouldn't exist. There's no fucking reason for like an NBA team to be in Sacramento, California, of all places. They shouldn't be real, but they are, and they just like really dug themselves in there, and they're not leaving, and so they can just do whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't really have to explain it.
Right, like at least the Pelicans like can exist as like a fun distraction when the Saints get caught up in like another Catholic Church scandal. Like what? Like the Pelicans at least. Yeah,
I saw Sean Payton. Yeah. He gave the priest the Vicodin, and then they kind of.
Right. All right, that was actually Kevin James. Sean Payton. Guy never did anything wrong.
Let's get a round of applause for Sean Payton on a great career of very moral
2023 head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Sean Payton.
Somehow, that's
the most problematic NFL head coach, which is a real honor that Sean Payton had for. Yeah, I mean, he tried to give guys CTE. He helped, possibly was involved with the Catholic Church thing. I mean, just a brilliant career all around. Off the field more so than on.
He lost to Kirk Cousins and Case Keenum in back-to-back seasons. But in the playoffs,
he's the only coach in the NFL who gave Kevin James a chance to go out there and get another great movie. So you can't put an
Oscar,
job creator,
possibly an Oscar. Yeah.
Wait. I was looking this up. Sean Payton, when he got suspended because he kept trying to give people CTE for like a year, and we're like, yeah, that's 1 year. They did the whole thing where he coached his son's middle school football team, and like he lost one game. And like he was like, we're gonna face them again in the championship. So he got game footage of a middle school football team, brought it home, called Bill Parcells. They studied this middle school football team's game footage together. This is real. They did that, and he still lost again. He lost the team again in the championship.
Okay, I take back what I said. Everything nice about Sean Payton.
Sean Payton and Bill Parcells put their fucking heads together to crack a middle school football team running single wing formation, and they lost again.
Well, the opposing coach was Lady Gaga playing Gucci, so she's up for an Oscar there. By the way, tremendous performance by Lady Gaga in the Sean Payton movie.
To be fair, middle school football is literally just which player has the biggest kid that no one can tackle. Yeah. So I understand losing to the other team. It makes a lot of sense to me. All right, let's move on to the next trade, which is this was actually proposed by Sam Vecini on the Game Theory podcast. So this one isn't schizophrenic.
This one looked too normal again. So.
Yeah, what's with these fucking normal ones, Joe? I
had to throw. Okay, I explained this to Sam and Nihilus Bucks before. I was reading.
I'm glad I didn't get that.
Yeah, I didn't want to include you, but I was explaining to them. I was getting overwhelmed with how many people and teams were involved that it was hurting my brain. I was getting like sensory overload from the amount of teams. So I was like, I have to throw in a few normal trades just to have
the palate cleanser.
A palate cleanser, a way to just have a normal conversation. So this one is pretty normal. So let's see. It's Gallo. The Sixers get Gallo, Bogdanovich, John Collins, Jalen Johnson, and 2 first-round picks from the Sixers or from the Hawks. And the Hawks get Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons. I don't think the Hawks would do this.
Why do the Hawks give up 2 picks?
I was just gonna say, I think there's too many picks. Like it probably need to be like
take it up with Sam Vecini. I don't know. It was his idea.
Right. Yeah, Sam.
We're gonna cancel Sam. You already killed off Zach Lowe, so now we're gonna
see. I actually know Sam. I've talked to Sam before, so I can't actually kill him off. I'm aware of his health, so I can't. What I would say about this one, though, just like as a more general framework for a Ben Simmons trade, this is exactly what I think the Sixers need to be trying to do, though, is trying to use Ben Simmons to send Tobias Harris somewhere far away and get back these smaller $20 million contracts for guys who are not going to cost you that much to get off of. Because the name of the game is like basically getting yourself in a salary cap situation where the Nets have to take you seriously. Like you basically just have to get a knife to threaten the Nets with, a salary cap knife. Like, hey, we can sign this guy outright, so you better sign and trade him. Because James Harden's obviously not leaving money on the table. He's probably not doing that.
It's against his religion, yeah.
Yeah, but you like it's credible if there's a hypothetical way for you to get to, easily get to, if you could call up Sacramento and be like, hey, can you take, Danilo Gallinari and Bogdanovich.
But the problem with this is
first-round pick.
The problem with this though is that so say we take this trade and we get to the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
The Sixers have Joel Embiid, John Collins, Bogdanovich, all just them together. So those 3, I'm doing the quick math off the top of my head. That's $70 million. They would have close to $50 million in cap space if they cut if they were able to trade every other player on the team. Order to do that, they would literally that's why I like the Halliburton trade the most for the Sixers, because you can try to get expiring contracts that are coming back to the Sixers and then just be with guys on rookie deals, basically.
Right. But what I will say is with Oklahoma City, because they're insanely, basically the way, I'm not going to bore everyone on this, but basically there's a way that the league works with salary cap stuff where if you're below the floor, you're basically leaving money on the table. It's basically free to take a guy. And Oklahoma City is still in a place where they're pretty far below that. And, Sam Presti is running a racket. He's doing an extortion. He's doing the low version of this. But if you're giving them a good player, it's probably not going to cost that much to pay. For example, Tobias Harris would have cost to send Tobias Harris to the Oklahoma City would probably cost the Sixers 2 first-round picks with all the years
just to dump him into space.
Yeah. On the other hand, Bogdanovich or let's say Buddy Hield or Harrison Barnes.
Right.
Oklahoma City will do that for a pretty heavily protected pick because those guys are kind of assets. It's yeah, sure, fuck it, bring those guys in. We can flip those guys.
They might just take them for nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For a first round pick. So that's the goal. This applies to kind of address your point. If you have these smaller guys, it's credible that you could get off them pretty easily. I guess is what I would say. Versus Tobias Harris, they're no, the Nets are going to be no, you're not trading $40 million for 3 more years into no one's going to take that for something that's not going to impact all of your draft picks versus
the 2 ways that we'll know that the Sixers have a real chance at getting James Harden is if they do a move to solely move off the Tobias Harris money before the deadline, or if they do, which by the way, I have heard is a possibility. I don't know if it's going to happen. It actually, in general, I've been saying over and over, it makes more sense to wait until the offseason because then you can just send him into space. But the problem, as you've stated, no one has cap space this summer. There's 3 teams that have cap space this summer, and moving him in season might actually make more sense because of Oklahoma City, because of the fact that you could send him to a team that's going to have cap space this summer for expiring contracts like San Antonio or whatever, and you can figure all that shit out later. So if they move Tobias Harris, or if they make a move and they trade Ben Simmons for Tyrese Halliburton and they send money elsewhere, then you'll know they have a legit shot at James Harden this summer. And I still am just like, what are they going to gut the entire team except for Embiid and Maxey and just be like, and maybe Halliburton if they get him and be like, all right, James Harden, come here, and then we'll fill the rest of the team with minimums.
Well, I mean, so this is, but this is, I can explain that, like how that would go. Is you call them up and say,
I love that you're a bigger sicko than me.
Yeah, no. But this is what you would do though. Is like because I have to think about this. I should think about this insane shit with the Celtics all the time. You call them up and you say, like, look, James wants to come to us. You're gonna lose him for nothing.
Right.
We're gonna trade all this stuff and we're gonna sign him. Or your option is you can get Buddy Hield and Harrison Barnes back. And we can give James all his money, and that's how this thing is going to go. But the Nets need to believe that you will actually go through with the other side of the coin first. You need to have a believable scenario where you can get off that money. I don't think that would ever actually happen because James Harden isn't going to leave the money on the table. But it's more about threatening the Nets to the point where they can't risk losing Harden for nothing. They need to get something back. Like the Celtics, that's why Celtics keep fucking sending picks out for like Gordon Hayward and Evan Fournier and stuff to preserve the traded player exceptions
for the Ponzi scheme.
Bad to lose those guys. Like
that's the Ponzi scheme. But the Warriors did it a few years ago with D'Angelo Russell and Kevin Durant. They lost. Kevin Garnett, the Warriors legend, left the team. And
anything is possible.
So
my favorite is Durant getting his number retired as part of the sign and trade.
I do just want to say I actually have been thinking about this a lot. How funny would it be if the Nets and the Warriors face off in the finals and the Warriors beat the Nets because literally they just gave them fucking, like, I know you could be like, oh, they just gave them Andrew Wiggins, but like the Warriors would have not had any chance to get any even remotely better if the Nets didn't do that sign and trade because they were totally capped out. Like they got D'Angelo Russell, who they flipped for the pick that became Jonathan Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins, and like there's at least a slight chance that they could face off in the finals and it could come back to bite them in the ass.
Right. Well, that's the nature of the sign and trade though, is like, you kind of have to help out the team, because the players want the money. Like that's unless you're Kyrie Irving and then you just fucking take the money and say, fuck you, boss. Which rule?
Fuck you, White Devils.
Yeah.
Which we agree with.
I'm gonna stomp that goofy next time I see him. But like in general, the way the Kyrie thing went down isn't usually how it goes, or the Al Horford thing. You've got to be kind of a lower, like. Honestly, it just happens with stars that are like a little lower caliber. It doesn't happen with James Harden and Kevin Durant and guys who have won the MVP. Like,
right?
You don't that like doesn't happen. Like they give up money, and that's what the sign and trade is it's basically like they get their 5th year, they get all their money, that they get their bird rights raises, and then the other team gets a little something. They preserve that cap space.
It makes sense.
Right, yeah, and they end up like basically in good shape. Like again, it's one of the reasons the Celtics fucking suck now because that happened to them twice with Al Horford and Kyrie Irving.
I know.
They got
and
back
Gordon
in
Hayward, right? Or no, they made that a TP. Never mind.
No, and then they got Fournier, and then they got Josh Richardson, and then next year they're gonna get some 17-year-old prospect you've never heard of. It is literally a pyramid scheme. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm not kidding. They're probably not in season, but they're probably gonna trade Al Horford next season for guys that fit specifically into the Fournier and the other one, like so they can sign a guy and like get. They're doing
the SEC is going to start investigating you.
No, they're doing a Ponzi scheme. I can tell you right now. Like, it's going to happen. Like, they're going to trade Al Horford for guys that fit into the other TPs to make a bigger Al Horford TPE.
It's amazing. Yeah. They're just going to have $120 million TPE. That's going to be the whole team. It's just going to be
not even a joke, though. Like, really. Like.
So I see someone saying in the comments, Josh Young says the opt-in trade is the best path to Harden. I agree, because the opt-in, if he opts into his deal next year, it would be less money than if he were to go sign a new deal for his first season, because he has 1 year left on his deal. He could opt in and then be traded. But once again, the Nets have to be incentivized to do this. They have to have a reason to do this. And as Sam said, you have to either spice in the deal, whatever it is, or you have to be able to get to the point where you can like create that leverage, that cap space. It's possible that Nets get to the situation and just go, well, look, we don't want to give this guy the money anyway. And if we don't want to give him the money and he's getting old and we don't think he's going to last that long, like, yeah, this is our biggest shot. But at the same time, it could go really wrong for Philly, and Ben Simmons could come here and be a good fit with KD and Kyrie, and we could maybe even get more than just Ben Simmons in the sign and trade. So that's the situation that this fucking sicko that runs our team is waiting for this offseason.
Well, and the other thing about the opt-in too is that's squarely on the shoulders of Harden.
Right.
And you got to understand he's losing money if he opts in. That's sure. Like if he really wants that, the way that goes down, it's by far the best option for Philly. But the only way that goes down is if Harden is really fucking over it and really wants to fuck the Nets.
He just wants to come to Philly and fuck.
Yeah,
But there is a world where he does that and then he signs an extension here. He could wait a year and then he's been like, could try to get even more money next offseason. But realistically, he's old. He could get injured. Like, he's going to want all the money up front this offseason. And he's going to, if he did that, he would do what Chris Paul did, which is he can get traded to the Sixers and he could sign a 3-year extension with the opt-in. But as you said, it's going to be less money. So I just don't really see a world where all of this goes right. All right. So we're moving on to the next trade. This is our buddy Tom, not Tom. So Tom didn't read the instructions at all. I asked him to submit screenshots of the trade machine, and he just typed out his trade. But we like Tom, so we're gonna do the trade anyway. So the Wizards get Jerami Grant and Corey Joseph. The Pistons get Spencer Dinwiddie, Deni Avdija, and a top 10 future protected first. That seems like a normal trade.
I like this one because Spencer Dinwiddie gets to like flee from DC before the SEC bashes down his door.
Well, he lost all his money, so they don't care anymore.
Yeah. His whole contract's at Bitcoin. It's digitized. So
man, making less than Enes Kanter on the vet min right now.
Wait, does that mean that the Pistons would get more cap space this summer?
That's it. If it's converted to Bitcoin, like
what's the conversion rate for an ape on for your cap space? It's like
Daryl Morey is crunching those numbers day and night, and he's gonna find out. Don't you worry.
If you had your contract converted to horny dolphins, you're technically you're not allowed to play for the team anymore. You actually are a G League affiliate now.
So goddamn, we have the Wizards. The thing is, the Wizards, Bradley Beal, if he does not ask out before the trade deadline, is going to put pressure on the Wizards to make a deal like this. I kind of like this deal for the Pistons more than I like it for the Wizards, just because I think I think Jerami Grant's a fine player. I'm just like, if I can get, the only thing is, if you get Deni Avdija, he could always leave and have to just go fight in the IDF or something. So there's that problem. There's that issue. And then you have, you get a future first, like a pretty good prospect, and Spencer Dinwiddie, who really just wants to be like Michael Jordan on a shitty team. So and so does Jerami Grant.
I was gonna say so does Jerami Grant. So.
He wants to be Kevin Durant on a shitty team.
Yeah.
Spencer Dinwiddie wants to be Michael Jordan on a shitty team. It works for both sides. I like this deal.
Actually, now you say Spencer Dinwiddie and Jerami Grant could be like the magic bird of the Chinese league if they went over there. I think.
Enes Kanter won't
allow that'd be
that.
great for them.
He's gonna take them down beforehand. They're getting a slideshow on the Uyghurs before they ever even get over it. It's not happening.
Do you think if he ever has a player on his team that played in China, he would just boycott
I mean, he was just racist to Jeremy Lin for like.
I know.
Wait, what did he say, Jeremy Lin?
All sorts of things we can't say on this podcast.
I know. I've said it before. Yeah,
he just said like some crazy stuff. Like I don't know. I can't even keep track of like what he's saying. Like because he keeps escalating it all the time. But like, he's not a good.
His
dude.
heart's in the right place, you know.
Celtics great.
His heart's in the right
Celtics
place.
great.
Langley. I'm gonna. I will say this: that trading Jerami Grant is kind of the same problem. Like for example, the Celtics have with like trading Marcus Smart, where a guy is just more valuable on the team he's on, even if it makes sense to trade him. Like the Pistons, it's hard to incentivize, I think, the Pistons to give up Jerami Grant because he's a good player for them in that role. And if he's going to a better team, he's probably not going to want to be the fourth best guy. Like he hated that. He hated that shit on the Nuggets, even though he was a good
realistically
player.
With the Wizards, he'd probably be the second or third option, right? I mean, like with like Kuzma.
Mm-hmm.
At least you have that. Like he went to them with a list of teams, and like I said, like on the last podcast, he probably just went to tankathon.com and was like, trade me to these really bad teams. Like I don't want to go to the Lakers or the Lakers are kind of mid this year, but like I don't want to go to the Warriors. I don't want to do what I did in Denver.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it would. Yeah, I mean, it would just need to be something like where, it'd need to be something like this where it is he's not. I don't think Jerami Grant being traded is going to have any impact on the title race. Let me put it that way. Like it need to be like one of these trades where he's going to another team where he's not going to be low enough on the pecking order for it to make a difference. So
right, he wants he wants a good diet of shots. Basically, right. He wants to go to a team and be a guy. Like he wants to be a top 2 or 3 guy on a team. Which, look, I get it, and he also wants to get paid. And like the Wizards are like known for paying guys when they shouldn't. So like in my like Davis Bertans and even Bradley Beal, like we said last night, like they didn't learn from the John Wall situation. They're about to max him out and he's not worth the supermax. Like
it need to be something like this where like the Pistons are getting a significant asset back, like a pick that could be like 11th or 12th or maybe even 9th or 8th or something like that. But like because otherwise I'd rather just have a good player for Cade to play with while he like learns point guard. Like
that makes sense.
Value is like kind of important. It's kind of important to the like Pistons to like actually play with good players. So I probably wouldn't trade him unless it was something like this where you're getting back a very significant future asset.
But the question is if you can move off Spencer Dinwiddie this offseason, you might be able to generate more cap space, or at least like you can just reshape the team around Cade and like what works with him best. Because like Jerami Grant, as good of a player as he is, he's like a huge ball stopper. Like in his current role, like he's not the kind of guy that's like gonna like he does shoot threes and shit, but like he's generally speaking more of an on-ball guy. And if you want to get Cade more on-ball reps, you might be able to move off of Spencer Dinwiddie and get like Buddy Hield or someone that's just gonna put up like 10 threes a game or something. So all right. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this one I had to include because so we're trading Andre Drummond to the Nuggets, the Sixers, for Austin Rivers, who we really just need. We need with the Sixers need someone who hates Doc Rivers as much as we do. So we're trading for his son, Austin.
Yes.
I think Daryl Morey does this immediately.
Oh, live Woj slop. We got
it's the Harden stuff. Yep.
The Brooklyn Nets will not listen to offers for James Harden. Is largely rooted in the NBA guard's repeated instance to ownership and management that he is committed to the franchise. The Philadelphia 76ers plans for a potential pursuit of Harden this summer have been no secret to anyone in the league.
No, that doesn't mean anything.
So nothing, which is what Woj said earlier.
I don't think. Well, I believe that though because I don't think they are going to trade Harden at the deadline. It doesn't make sense for them to trade Harden at the deadline.
Of course not. They're not going to trade him at the deadline.
The Nets are in a hostage situation. They don't have any fucking power here.
So we have that one thing in common. We have two. We got hostages on both sides, and we just got to wait for the other side to give theirs up.
The Nets are like watching the people in the purge masks come up the door, and the people in the purge masks are Daryl Morey, and he takes it off, and there's a irate ape underneath it, or something. There's some sort of NFT is fucking there.
Just Daryl Morey and his buddies from Northern Virginia.
I want to see the Nuggets. I want this to happen so the Nuggets can play Boogie, Andre Drummond, Jokic, and Ball. And
no, Ball's a Celtic.
No, we have.
Oh, yeah, he's a Celtic now. I forgot they traded him again. Let's see the Celtics fail his physical.
They traded him
By
twice.
the way, quick aside, eBay, like, who's just the biggest crank in the world, was asked about how Bull's fitting in, and he was just like, yeah, I don't know, he's kind of quiet, I don't know, he doesn't really talk to anyone. He just gave him nothing. Like, not even pretending he's like going to be on the team for the long run. He's the meanest fucking guy. He rules.
So I just want to say, Sam, is the Bol thing real? Like, did they trade for him because they like him as a prospect, or is it just another Taco Fall situation where they want to like sell merch and have a tall guy?
No, I'm telling you, I'll tell you literally exactly what it is. It's the fucking TPE shell game. No, I'm like not kidding. That's why they traded Wancho. It's because the Kemba Walker TPE was going to expire eventually. They're probably going to do it again with Dennis Schroeder. Like, where they keep changing. They need to like fill these every year to like refresh them and make a slightly bigger one. And that's what happened there is they took back the guys.
So it's like when they made that Fantastic Four movie just because they were going to lose the rights to it.
Exactly. No, that's a great. It's a great example. So, yes. We're turning Wancho into Bull because Miles Teller is on the way out. He's being canceled.
So what's the massive reshoots after Josh Trank Jet destroys the place? Is that Brad Stevens like getting a new team? After you fire Ime?
It's like they thought they were getting Bryn Forbes back, so they just fucking send that shit to DVD immediately. Oh, God. I don't even remember who else was in it besides Miles Teller, because that was like
it's Miles Teller, Kate Mara, and a horrible wig for the reshoots. It's I don't remember who plays the Thing, and then it's Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch.
Oh man,
I literally don't even remember this. So great.
Glad he dodged it.
Dr. Doom is like a weird alien, like weird mutation instead of like Dr. Doom. It's so weird. Anyway, he also was supposed to be a hacker named. It wasn't even supposed to be named Victor Von Doom. He was supposed to be a hacker with the code name Doom. It was the worst idea ever.
Sounds like a great film. We should watch it next time. All right, let's go on to the next thing here. This was specifically submitted for Nihilist Bucks.
Next slide. It'll be my turn to commit parody on air.
Just want to let this soak in for everyone that's watching what's happening here. That was submitted by @TheTroopsNBA. He's a Nuggets fan.
The Bucks picked up 3 wins.
Hey, all I'm saying is well, to be fair, the metric they use is LeBron, which is of course is going to have a bias towards Ben Simmons. So
I can't believe. Can we go back real quick? I want to talk about what happened to the Kings in that trade. So the Kings are giving up Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox, and they're getting Will Barton and Tobias Harris. That's tough, man. That's tough. I don't know.
They're not a real team. They shouldn't exist. It's just for fun.
Yeah, I can tell this is a Nuggets fan. This is cool with giving up Will Barton, Jeff Green, and Monte Morris, and getting.
Are we sure that's Jeff Green, or is that the other Jay Green on their team? I think
he makes 8.2.
Oh, is it JaMychal Green?
I think
it's
JaMychal Green. Right. Yeah. I can't even keep up with how many Jay Greens they have, but they got Chris Middleton. I like that deal for them. So I gotta say, all right. I just had to.
You think?
I had to throw that deal in for this. I'm not releasing the audio version of this podcast. I've decided, so I'm not even gonna read that back. Hold on. Let's see.
I think you should do it anyway. Some sickos are going to listen to this.
Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah, just put it out there.
All right. So I don't know where this one. I think Jared from Twitter submitted this one.
That's far too much for Christian Wood.
I was like, Christian Wood is not worth 3 first-round picks, and I would literally rather have Moses Moody than Christian Wood.
Well, that's okay. So what I was going to say is I think James Wiseman is one of the worst picks ever, and like we're like trying to catch up on that, and even I think this is a bad trade.
Yeah, you're salary dumping James Wiseman in his second season. He's played like 30 games in the NBA. I've seen enough. This guy is not it. So we have.
You're right, by the way.
Yeah. James Wiseman, Moses Moody, and 3 first-round picks for Christian Wood. Now, if this was James Wiseman, Moses Moody, and 1 first-round pick,
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's interesting. I think that it could be possible.
I don't know what Christian Wood does for them.
Yeah. Honestly, if I were the Rockets, I'd consider just no first-round picks, just Moses Moody and James Wiseman. I mean, why the fuck not?
I think Moses Moody is going to be a good prospect, and Christian Wood isn't doing anything for you except for being sad all the time. So
right.
I don't know. Can't clog up the lane for Sengun, man.
Yeah, he's a beast. I like Sengun.
Sengun.
He sounds like a JRPG. So whatever it is, All right, JRPG. There you go. Sorry, Sam. I knew you were correct.
Don't worry.
Nobody on this YouTube plays those, so it's fun.
It's just me and Sam. Sam and I can talk.
Don't worry. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'm only 5 short of getting every Genshin Impact character, so I will be available to help out with any of those.
Shengun Impact coming next fall.
Yeah. All of the Danganronpa cases ranked. Starting
with. Okay, we're gonna start with V36. That's by far my favorite. Okay.
Yeah, no idea what the fuck you're talking about, so please stop.
This is too sicko.
Yeah. All right. So this was. Guess which fan base? First off, who still uses the ESPN trade machine? What year are you living in? We have bigger and better trade machine folks.
Did they submit any comments with picks or anything? Or are we just doing it as is?
I think they just submitted this straight up. I would guess the Pistons.
This seems like a dumb Celtics fan to me.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I don't know if I would call them a dumb Celtics fan, but a Celtics fan definitely tweeted this at me. It's John Collins and Bogdan Bogdanovic for the Celtics.
I'll come fight them.
So the Celtics give up Al Horford, Romeo Langford, and Smart, and just get John Collins and Bogdan. The Detroit Pistons are giving up Jerami Grant to take on the contract of Al Horford.
Right.
And Romeo Langford. Don't forget.
Okay, I'd also like to point out they're getting the most wins in the trade machine, which is very
I know. I'm always mystified by the wins calculations.
No, there's an insane thing.
Look at who's doing the analysis though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's our boy John Hollinger.
Well, but this is something that's interesting. It's kind of an aside with Al Horford because I've been fucking around with trades for him. Is he's weirdly an analytics darling, even though I've watched him and he's doesn't have it anymore. But
he was even on the Sixers season. He was kind of good analytically, top 50 or whatever. And I was he's horrible. He doesn't have it anymore.
He was good to start the season, and he would be a lot better if he just shot slightly below his career average. But he fucking went off a cliff, literally a 10% drop in his 3-point percentage, which just hurts too bad. But that's what we always see is it's there's these things where I'm trading. Yeah, you're trading Al Horford for John Collins, and it's you're actually getting wins back. You get Al Horford in for John Collins. Interesting.
I'm not sure how that works in the ESPN trade machine, but apparently PER still loves Al Horford, which was a metric that was created in 1990. So, it's the best. Okay. Now Fatty Milk is literally just commenting in Russian in the comments. So that's
absolutely
great.
Brother.
I agree with what you're saying in Russian.
Let's see. You can have your cream, man. Not worth it to me, buddy. Let's get it out of there. Sorry to our Ukrainian listeners.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Sponsored by the Kremlin. So, all right. So the Hawks actually don't get a horrible return. It's really just the Pistons that get fucked over here. The Pistons should get 2 first-round picks here. 2? Maybe 1 to take on the Al Horford deal. And then 1 for Jerami Grant. Yeah. That's fair, right?
1. I'm not a huge John Collins guy, especially where the Celtics kind of have
no good passers.
Well, and their only good passer, one of their only good passers is Robert Williams, who probably is not optimized next to John Collins. So it's kind of tough, yeah.
And you're trading out Marcus Smart, who's
we're trading out the only point guard we fucking have on the roster.
Yeah. Not ideal. So I mean, it's good for pretty much every team but the Pistons, though, if you really think about it. All right, so let's move on to the next one.
Just want to be clear,
this is. Okay, I know, Sam. I know you wouldn't trade any player on the Celtics. You would rather go 5.
Dennis Schroeder and Al Horford, but just them. No Smart.
Okay, fair enough. Right. This is the I'm going to kill myself trade that was submitted in the Discord. That was what it was titled. James Harden. Okay, so this was proposed because we were talking about James Harden being libertarian and wanting to go to a tax haven in Miami with good weather and cocaine and strip clubs and all that stuff. So that would be James Harden, and then the Nets get Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, and 2 first-round picks. This would probably be an assign and trade this offseason, I would imagine. Yes. I didn't even know that the Heat could trade their future first-round picks, but apparently they can again.
I mean, the city's not going to exist by then, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, right.
2027? Yeah, I mean they will absolutely be up to their eyeballs.
That's monopoly money. Pat Riley doesn't give a fuck. He's just throwing that out there.
Pat Riley will also be dead by then.
Yeah, Pat Riley's gonna be dead. He doesn't care
yeah.
about the future of the Heat.
He will be.
Pat Riley's not gonna die. He's gonna be one of those motherfuckers who lives to be like 200.
I will give the Heat credit. I will kind of give the Heat credit because I remember I thought that when they traded those 2 first-round picks for Goran Dragic, like, man, they're going to be fucked. They like somehow wriggled their. It was like kind of like that old the tweet about I'd love to see old Donald Trump wiggle his way out.
Well, this one.
Like, rats. Got him.
Nevertheless,
you say somehow they did. They play in Miami. That's it. They play in Miami.
The Lakers East.
And the NBA is made up of a bunch of like 20 to 30-year-old millionaires who want to play in Miami no matter what.
That's crazy.
And that's just how they do it.
I'm looking at it right now. They've given up like literally every second round pick they have. That's not an exaggeration. Like literally every one between now and 2027. But the only first round pick they're sending out is one to Houston. So they actually do have all their own. Like,
who did they trade to Houston for?
It's like a big trade. It's like one of those ones where it got like fucking passed around forever.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, passed around the league.
Like Denver's involved. Like there was like a Brooklyn, Cleveland, Houston. It was basically in the original Harden trade, and then Houston and Miami. I don't know who got traded there, like a Houston-Miami trade. But yeah, I didn't know that either. I guess the Heat do actually have most of their own first-round picks, which is
scary and horrifying to think about. Yeah, not a good thing. 2 things. Woj did mention that there is an opt-in and trade scenario for James Harden this summer as a potential. So there's at least that, but also keep in mind Woj is literally always getting leaks from Daryl Morey. Just keep that in mind. Yeah. If a story comes from Woj, it was basically written by hand by Daryl Morey.
Woj's Morey, Shams is Ben Simmons. That's the
clutch.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Oh, and that was another thing, that the clutch thing that I brought up on Twitter earlier. I think that it's true that Clutch is trying to get the news out there about the Harden stuff so that teams try to up their offers and blow the Sixers away so that basically Ben Simmons can be moved before the deadline and all that stuff about Harden.
Past the deadline. Like
we've gone full circle.
And I will they're working together. I'm not even kidding. Yeah. I really do think that's what's happening here. No, Perkins was saying it earlier today, and he's a Clutch guy too. Mm-hmm. Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah, it's like the end. It's the end of Lord of the Rings, where it's all like, never thought I'd die fighting side by side with Rich Paul. Yeah.
And what about side by side with a man dating Adele?
I
can do that. Yeah.
So
love that Rich Paul is Legolas. I've always said that.
Dear You Know Ball Discord, you know what you have to do.
Daryl Morey is a dwarf. Makes sense though. It's one of the dwarves. Yes. The little caverns, crypto mining.
Horrible little code man.
But I will just say, also Howard Beck did say earlier today that Harden, all the Harden to Philly stuff is not coming from the Sixers or even the Nets. It's coming from other teams. And that would make sense because I've heard about this for a few weeks and it's not from Nets or Sixers people. So like the idea that this is Daryl Morey, like, would they want that out there? Yes, of course they would. But like, it's not necessarily Morey leaking all of this information. It is other people. And now more people are speaking Russian. Breaking, Tobias Harris has been traded to NATO forces. Wow. Great.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Good for him.
Another trade. It's going to be hard for him to readjust to a new city again. You know, I don't know how
he's for Russia. He's not going to be able to hit anyone on those lines.
But he'll be great for morale. He's just a real.
Yeah, he will be great for morale.
A good locker room guy for the.
Real locker room guy. Ukraine's capped out now, though.
Oh, Jesus fuck. Oh, God.
All right. What, we're this new one? You don't like this one?
Well, Mason Plumlee feels like a Spur. I'll start there.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah,
they get Mason Plumlee and a first, the Spurs. The Suns get Miles Bridges. This is kind of a riff on the stuff that we talked about yesterday.
Okay.
Miles Bridges and Jakob Poeltl and a first round pick. By the way, I love that no one can pronounce Jakob Poeltl's name. It's like Jacob Poeltl is like always.
Jakob Poeltl.
I can.
I call him Jakey.
Back when the Celtics were like down horrendous, that was what I wanted them to get in like the Terry or whatever.
Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, Jakob Poeltl. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, baby. Let's go.
He was going to change the lives of Boston.
Jakob.
I kind of like this trade, to be honest. Like, my first instinct was like, oh, what? They're giving up Miles Bridges. It better be someone good. And it is. Like,
it's DeAndre Ayton. He's very good.
He's pretty good. I still probably don't do this if I'm the Hornets. Just DeAndre Ayton for
that would
Miles
be very
Bridges
problematic.
And a first is just a little too steep. Like, I'd probably want like a second back or like one more guy. I don't know. But it's pretty close, though, I think.
I mean, like, if there is a trade to happen for Ayton for a guy that's out there, I think Miles Bridges is the one that makes the most sense because the Hornets were hesitant to pay him. And then if with Ayton, the Suns were hesitant to pay him. Ayton would be awesome with LaMelo. The Bridges with Booker and CP3 would be awesome with the Suns. I could see something like this happening. I don't think it's going to happen at the deadline, though. I think that any trade like this would come in the offseason. So,
yeah.
All right, so let's move on from that.
No.
Yo, good Lord.
This was another one that are all these players still on these teams? Yeah, they are. Rodney McGruder was traded. When this person submitted this, Rodney McGruder was on the Pistons, got traded, and then was back on the Pistons by the time this was posted like a month ago, and they just reshared it with me the other day. This is this is the Sixers getting somehow they get. You can guess which fan base submitted this.
They lose wins, though. Are you sure they do it?
Yeah.
Yes, a Pacers fan submitted
They're
this.
They're gaining 134 minutes per game
for Yusuf Nurkic.
Wait, where are the Pacers? So the Blazers are trading CJ for CJ and Nurkic for Tobias Harris and Miles Turner.
It's actually kind of good.
Build around Anthony, baby.
They're slick getting CJ McCollum for Tobias Harris.
We literally just got guard Tobias Harris, but like much better at things that we need, like shooting threes.
Right.
So yeah,
-9 defense.
I mean, well, Tobias is not the most stellar defender either. So this one was a big clusterfuck. Harrison Barnes, CJ McCollum, Jerami Grant. Basically, this person was just like, what if the Sixers got every player that they were rumored to trade for in the Ben Simmons deal?
I love the Pistons giving up Jerami Grant for Tristan Thompson and Matisse.
I love my other favorite thing about this trade is that the Sixers are getting a pick back from the Kings.
Unprotected.
Yeah.
Nobody
else is getting a pick. Oh, sorry, the Pacers are getting a pick, but nobody else is getting a pick.
Also, it would be funny if Daryl Morey held out.
The Pistons are getting a second-round pick. Thank you.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
The least favorable of the Atlanta, Charlotte, or Brooklyn seconds, I guess.
That's the most desirable trade asset in the NBA. Who doesn't want that? The least desirable of the three? Come on. Yeah. Oh my God! All right, so we can move on from this.
I do want to say, I mean, I think it's just simple as better. I really think that the Sixers Kings framework checks a lot of boxes for everybody with like Halliburton, Barnes, and Neal.
Yeah, Halliburton's better than Ben Simmons. That's check one.
There we go.
And then you get two good players too. It's a really good. I don't know why the Kings do it. I do not know why the Kings do it.
So the Sixers send out Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons, and then they get the better version of Tobias Harris twice, Jerami Grant and Harrison Barnes. Oh, and the guard version of Tobias Harris and CJ McCollum.
I couldn't believe when that report came out. I can't remember if it came from Keith or not. So, like, maybe take it with a grain of salt. But, like, that there were 2 first-round picks from the Kings in that trade. Because I looked it up. The Kings don't have, like, fake first round picks. Like it's not like they have like a Bucks pick or like a Warriors pick. They only have their own picks.
Right. Yeah, which are going to be valuable as hell.
Valuable picks. Like
Sacramento Kings.
Insane.
But Nihilist Bucks, Gregory Smith, you could confirm that was the deal you heard too, right? Wasn't it? Yeah.
That was basically on the table, and then Morey and they had basically, from what I understanding, they had already basically agreed to it, and then Morey's like, actually, we want 2 firsts. And then they're like, we want Matisse Thybulle, and now we're nowhere.
And that just fell through.
Yeah, it's the funniest shit ever. Morey was like, done. Actually, we want 2 firsts.
Yeah, that's everyone.
Like,
he just keeps moving the goalposts.
Perfect NFT guy brain. Like I will say that. Yeah, here's something I'm making profit on for no good reason. Better up the ante.
Yeah, Sam, the funniest thing was, as I put it into the Discord, like 5 hours before Keith put it in an article, I was like, yeah, so I heard from a guy, basically, Morey will agree to a trade, and then before they call it into the league office, he basically tries to pull a fast one and get another asset.
Yeah.
And then that was literally, and that's literally in a Keith article 5 hours later.
Yep.
And we can't tell if Keith is in the Discord and reading that, or he's also we have the same source. I don't know.
This is his revenge. This is Keith's revenge. He's literally just stealing all of our takes that if there's an article that comes out tomorrow that Bradley Beal is asking out, we will know that Keith is in the Discord because that's what I leaked earlier. So, all right. Damn. All right. Let's move on to the next one. God damn. This is ridiculous. Okay, this is basically just a Tobias Harris salary dump. Tobias Harris had 2 first-round picks to the Pacers for TJ Warren and Karis LeVert. TJ Warren's expiring. Karis LeVert has 1 more year left on his deal. He's also been playing like pretty well this year. Sure, why not?
Sure.
Who cares? Yeah, who cares? Like, this is just the most nothing trade to me. Like, I guess
any trade involving the Pacers is the most nothing trade. They are nothing. Dust to dust.
Special.
Yeah, well, this also achieves what I think should be the Sixers' #1 goal of turning it into expirings and someone you can hypothetically trade. Like you can move Karis LeVert for
easy,
not that much money. Yeah, like so again, threatening the Nets with a knife. I think this accomplishes that too.
And Tobias Harris really does feel like the perfect pacer to me.
Yeah.
Like,
like I think it's weird that he hasn't been on the Kings, to be honest.
Yeah. Kings,
really
Pacers.
Yeah.
Any of those teams.
The Kings and the Pacers are soul sisters, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Kings are just the shittier West Coast version. All right. Let's move on to the next one. This one's great. I love this one. The Orlando Magic get nothing, and Terrence Ross goes to jail. So
I wanna one up the Magic here, and I'll offer Enes Kanter. I want to talk to Jail. Let's see.
I want to point out. Jail lost 2 wins.
I mean, he holds the ball. What are you gonna do? You're not gonna win games like that.
Look, Derrick Rose is killing it on their rec team already.
Someone said Jail might say no to this one. I'm not sure. I do just want to say, can we finally get Enes Kanter his Supermax and send him to Supermax prison? Because this is just regular.
There we go.
We should send him
freedom. Enes freedom.
The irony.
Not when he goes to Supermax.
God, I hope he goes to China so bad, dude. I really do. Like he's like I'll go if you show me the Uyghur camps. It's like, yeah, man, absolutely.
Trojan horse him. Trojan. Trick him into it.
Wait, does Taiwan have a basketball league?
I would imagine, yeah. Sure.
I want him to go and play in the Taiwanese basketball league and like make a whole thing about it.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
He'll be out of the league after this season, so yeah. All right, so that was.
It's funny. It'd be if he signed with the Taiwanese team, China would just put out like the Chinese state media would just put out a thing saying Enes Kanter joins the Chinese basketball league as a way of like doing the Taiwan is part of China thing. Like it'd be awesome.
We think that Wilt Chamberlain is not real. They say Taiwan is not real. So, so I just want to say this was submitted by Magic Vagberg, who's like one of the funniest people on Twitter. You should definitely follow him. He tweets shit like this all the time, and it's hilarious. So, all right. So this is another. First off, this one was interesting to me because I was like, the Suns give up DeAndre Ayton and they get Colin Sexton and Larry Nance Jr., who, like, they're fine players, but, like, you're giving up DeAndre Ayton, and that's who, this was inspired by Nihilist Bucks saying that the Cavs are possibly interested in CJ McCollum, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So the Sixers, I don't know how there are no picks involved here. The Sixers just trade Tobias Harris and get back Kevin Love on a shorter contract. Kevin Love's been definitely better than Tobias Harris this year. And it's not really creating any cap space because he has another year after this year. I don't know. This is just like this would never ever happen. Also, why are we making the Trailblazers way better?
Maybe.
Well, I think you got to kind of take the Suns part of it out, but I think that there is kind of like the bones of something there. Like, I think you could work out a deal where it's like Kevin Love and Colin Sexton are going to the Blazers and like CJ McCollum's coming back or something.
There you go.
Like
that makes sense.
With like some picks or something like that. Or like, you know, if you want to get like Tobias involved or something like that, you know, I don't know. I don't even really fucking know.
Who cares?
Kevin Love wouldn't be like the worst Sixer of all time.
He'd be fine.
Like if you're looking for like an extreme buy low option, like if you want to trade Tobias Harris for Kevin Love.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, like maybe like.
Yeah, I mean the problem with trading those two straight up is that the Cavs are literally a team of bigs right now. So they have one guard and like 7 bigs. So
and they keep winning games. So who cares? You know?
I don't know why.
Figuring out.
I know the Suns want somebody who can play multiple positions, but why wouldn't they just get Nurkic if they're getting Larry Nance from the Blazers? Because I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, this trade would never happen. I think if they're trading Ayton, then it would have to be someone way better. So
I'd like to point out Enes Kanter can play multiple positions. He can Langley asset and center. So either any of those.
I'm telling you, I'm scared we're gonna trade for him just so him and Daryl have a lot to talk about. You know, China hates both of them. They're both CIA assets. I don't know if Kanter's into NFTs, but I'm scared. I'll say that much. All right, we got a few more left here. We're just gonna run through them. Sixers get Justin Holiday. Pacers get Paul Reed and Furkan Korkmaz. Report came out today that Justin Holiday can be had for 2 second-round picks, which every good team should be trying to do right now. Like Justin Holiday.
Do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like the Celtics. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck it, they can have Schroeder too. Fuck it.
Why not? For Sam's like, will anyone take Dennis Schroeder?
Will you please take? Honestly, though, he's like kind of a good player. He just is exactly what we don't need because he can't shoot threes. Like so. Anyway.
Also, he does skateboard, which is probably the coolest thing about him.
No, he's sick. He's got his own app. Did you guys know this? He has the Dennis app.
Yeah,
is it like the Jeremy Renner app?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, not even a bit. Like he really is like the Jeremy Renner app.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like
the
DS app? It's the Dirty Sprite app. He Dennis Schroeder has his own app. So yeah. So I don't think the Pacers would do this. I think you'd probably have to throw in those 2 seconds, but I'd do this in a heartbeat. I mean, free Paul Reed, get him to a real team with a real coach that doesn't make him the 15th man. He's like a beast in the G League. I think he could be good somewhere else. All right. And then this is submitted by Nihilist Bucks. Obviously, probably the most inconsequential trade, except for the fact that you guys get Mo Bamba, who had a rap song named after him, which is cool.
Yeah, this is me shoving 2 trades together of things that maybe the Bucks could do. Maybe. Yeah, it's me just either getting Kendrick Williams or Mo Bamba. I do not think this 4-teamer happens. I just want to put that out there. This was me being lazy and not wanting to make 2 screenshots.
So the Thunder get 2 of the latest picks in the draft. Jordan Noir. Okay, so Jordan Noir is at least something. Okay, fine. And then Semi Ojeleye, who's like the worst player in the NBA.
He's a dump. It's just get him off the team. You could cut him.
Yeah, Sam knows all about that. Dante DiVincenzo to
sure
the Kings. We finally can make that trade happen. Dante DiVincenzo, we right the wrongs of the Bogdanovich trade. And then who gets a first-round pick down there? The Magic for Mo Bamba?
Yeah, that's Fisher said the price was a first, so I rerouted the Dante first.
Sure. Yeah, that all sounds fair. It's lottery protected. Sure, why not? Who cares?
I would just say like it's maybe a little bit too much for the Kings, but if it's lottery protected and it like converts to like 2 seconds instead of like rolling back a year, I think that's fair. Like
sure, why not?
Yeah.
All right, we got like 2 more, so let's see. This one, once again, this is never going to happen. but I had to throw it in here. The Sixers send out basically the Sixers get Brandon Ingram is what happens here. And this is what Sixers fans want. They want Brandon Ingram now, who's basically just, not as good version of Chris Middleton.
I love the Miles Turner return
they
being Tobias.
Harris in this.
Oh, true. They do get rid of. I'm sorry. What was that? Miles Turner and Ben Simmons to the Pelicans?
Yeah, and the Pacers are giving up LeVert and Miles Turner for Tobias Harris and Thibault, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker looked like Michael Jordan against us last night, so that's all I'm saying against the Sixers, which I don't really even know if that's saying anything. All right, everyone's falling asleep, so let's sum up some shit here. Okay, so this one.
Oh Jesus!
John Wall.
This is a war crime. I feel bad looking at this.
Okay, wait until you see the last one, because this is not even really a war crime compared to the last one. But this is. I mean, who says no to this though? Is my thing.
God,
the King.
Yeah, there you go.
So the Kings are giving up Buddy Hield, and they get Eric Gordon, Daniel Tice. That doesn't really make any sense for them. Yeah, but Buddy Hield doesn't even want to be there.
Yeah, I was going to say Daniel Tice.
Yeah, nobody wants to be in
Sacramento. Yeah, I don't know.
Sure, why not?
I don't think they're the problem. Whatever. The Rockets are getting 2 firsts. They're getting a first from the Mavericks for Christian Wood. Okay, well, no, and then they're giving up Maxi Kleber. I don't think they're going to do that. Kleber is an important part of their rotation, kind of. So
yeah,
I feel like every one of these teams gets a little bit worse from this.
Yeah, who?
Except for the Lakers. Who just
I was going to say the Lakers.
Hield.
The Lakers basically.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This was actually submitted by a Mavs fan, So I saved the best for last. I think it's the next slide. Let's see if we have this one.
Okay, before our brains try to comprehend this, the Kings are losing by 30 again on back-to-back nights.
Yeah. Wait, the Kings are losing by 30 to who?
Yeah,
Hawks.
They're getting slapped around by the Hawks.
Okay, back to comprehending this. Okay. Oh God, it's sensory overload. Okay.
See, I told you I couldn't take in all the information. That's why I was like, okay, so the Sixers somehow end up with Harrison Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Justin Holiday, Josh Hart, and a first-round pick.
Okay.
And
the Pacers are trading away their team.
The Sixers sent out Simmons.
The Pacers have been dissolved.
A third of their team is going out.
So that sounds good to me. Honestly.
I mean, how many Kings are going out in this?
1, 2, 3, 6. 6 Kings.
6 Kings. No, 5 Kings in the first-round pick.
Oh, sorry, no, sorry, 5 Kings and a pick. So.
Okay, so the real question is,
they get 5 players.
Who says no? Literally,
okay, the Sixers say. Let's see. The Pacers get okay. The Kings probably say no, right? I don't know. They get Gordon Hayward. I mean, this is they get Sabonis. Okay, never mind. Okay. The Pelicans say no. Getting De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, and Bagley for Ingram and Josh Hart is terrible.
They're apparently the only team interested in De'Aaron Fox. I just want to throw that out there.
This is so gross. I'm trying to reconstruct everyone. To be honest, though, you know what? It is this is kind of
what we
Lovecraftian in a way, because as I follow a trail back, it's all of it kind of makes sense, which makes it even more horrifying.
This is kind of who's read House of Leaves? It's kind of the same.
I have not.
No,
I don't read books. I actually only read posts.
No,
that's not a joke. I don't read. I hate books. So.
This is the man with the mask. This is the Yellow King. I wear no mask. They all get better. They all get better. They all get better.
You can actually. This is the litmus test to see how fucking poisoned your brain is. If you look at this and you don't immediately shut down and reject it, and you're like, well, actually, if you break it down, maybe they get a little better. Maybe the brain worms just go into your deep cortex.
Okay, so I think I might have found a loser.
Okay, what?
I believe are
the 4 of us for looking at this.
They're giving up Gordon Hayward and Washington, and they're getting back Satoransky, TJ Warren, and Rashawn Holmes.
TJ Warren, who might have Yeah, well, yeah, they solved their center problems and they created many more problems. They have somehow gotten Satoransky, who's been like one of the worst players in the NBA this year, and TJ Warren, who might have to medically retire. Yeah, probably the Hornets are definitely the big loser here, but everyone else
does well. Yeah, but
they get a center and get off Gordon Hayward's contract. You know,
I think Gordon Hayward would refuse this though, because I don't think Sacramento was ever a sundown town, and that's usually a prerequisite for him to play there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
He would hate the politics in California. That's for sure.
Well, and his wife would want to know what the policing situation is there too. So.
She'd have to go test it out first. She'd have to do some scouting.
She'd have to go, drop by the precinct, say hi to them all, invite them all to come hang out when he's streaming.
Okay, hold on. All right, before we get out of here, this is the absolute last thing. I just want to say, someone said
before the second hour.
Do you guys know about John Wall's NFT scam that was supposed to be for charity, but he just stole the money?
Yeah, well, he doesn't have that much, so.
Yeah,
it was called the Max Extension from the Wizards.
Folks,
got his ass.
All right, guys, we should probably. Yeah, I see everyone trying to get whatever the Kings owner Vivek's name is into some King spaces right now. Just look up NFT scam for John Wall on Twitter. All right, so great time. Thank you so much for losing your minds with me for almost 2 hours. I appreciate it. The audio podcast of this will make no sense, so we probably won't release it, but the video podcast will live forever. So
release it.
Release the tapes.
Release the audio cut.
Peace.
Peace out.